Hi guys, welcome to this episode of Trip Around the Multiverse with your man who tortures heroes in order to make them better because tries to fuels people to be more potent. See why, Chong?
Yes. And I am the guy who has nothing better to do but going back in time and become a convoluted version of myself, Carl Charles.
Yeah. Today, we're gonna have a look at the Reverse Flashes, comic book versions of the Reverse Flashes, that is.
Yes.
And you know what? The best thing I think to start continuity-wise, just because you both born right, even though he's second. Reverse Flash, he comes up a bit later on, and then he does start being more convoluted as we go along.
Yeah.
All right. But wait, the way the DC timeline works, or the comic book timeline, you kind of have to wrap up the first section of him pre-crisis and then go up post-crisis, and then it's nuts. It's nuts. Time travel is a killer, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so first, Reverse Flash. I don't know if you've ever read about well, he's called the Rival, but I think the more correct version is to call him the Rival Flash.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, this is Jay Garrick's Flash in the 40s.
Yeah.
Well, late 40s. Essentially, so Jay Garrick's wife, Joan Garrick, is talking to one of Jay Garrick's colleagues about how the Flash got his abilities. No one questions her how she knows how the Flash got his abilities of the hard water, whatever he was doing, right?
Yeah.
Even though they say Jay Garrick's also metahuman. And there was a lightning storm when he was sniffing his hard water when he fell asleep. So, yeah. Okay. So they assume it's the guy she was telling it, right? But no, it was the professor who was behind the door listening in their conversation. And he became the Reverse Flash, the Rival Flash. He made his own hard water formula, and that's that. He just wears like he wears the Jay Garrick's Flash costume with darker shadow bits all over it, but he just coloring kind of dark.
Yeah,
and Jay Garrick has so the mystery of who is the Rival Flash.
Yeah.
He captures Jay Garrick, and instead of killing Jay Garrick, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna put him into. I want to somehow reverse his speed, so he's super slow."
Okay.
But he leaves the hard water formula there conveniently. He goes, "Yeah, Jay Garrick will never reach that shelf that has that formula there to regain it, so he can regain his super speed while I go robbing banks." Yeah. I'm like, all right, okay. And then when they catch him, they realize it's the professor, and then that's it. He disappears for years. Right?
Okay.
Never comes back.
Yeah.
Never comes back. Legit 50 years later, right?
Yeah.
Jeff Johns is like, oh, the Rival Flash, yeah. We were, you know why he didn't appear? Because after their first battle, right, which is Flash 104, original run,
yeah,
when they had their rematch, which obviously didn't actually happen in what's it called? In the comic book run, but had it in continuity, because the Edward Claris, the Reverse Flash, the Rival Flash, he was taking a speed formula to boost himself. He ran into the Speed Force, but because he ran out. The formula disappeared, and he wasn't connected to Speed Force properly. He was just basically in there getting driven insane because he was part. He was, I want to say necessarily an infection, but something not a natural occurrence in there. So he wasn't getting absorbed by the Speed Force.
Okay.
And they basically, so he comes back Johnny Sorrow releases him from the Speed Force and says, "Do you want to get your revenge on Jay Garrick?" Even though Edward Claris himself decided to take the formula, cause crime, run away from Jay Garrick and run into Speed Force. He's like, I'll get that guy. Well, when you're driven insane and being torn apart by the Speed Force because you don't belong there, but that's his main claim to fame. And there's a bit more story where his body disappears. He tries to take over Max Mercury and all that stuff, but Yeah, and he hasn't appeared in what was it, the Rebirth continuity?
I don't think has he appeared in Rebirth?
Oh no, what's the current DC continuity?
New Frontier, I think. I don't know.
The Infinite Frontier. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Well, okay, let's just break this down quickly.
Okay.
So you got pre-crisis, which is everything before crisis, of course. Yeah.
Yep.
You got post-crisis, which is from 1983 to, you want to say 0 Hour or beyond that? Post-crisis all the way up to New 52.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then you got Rebirth, yeah?
Yeah.
They're the main parts anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. They're main significant ones. Yeah, so he hasn't made an appearance since. Yeah.
Wow.
As a Reverse Flash, I don't know. I mean, but yeah, at least Jay Garrick has one. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. He kind of needs one, if I'm honest.
On to our boy, U-Boss Vaughn. Oh my goodness.
The best and worst character in all of comics.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think the way that we've been reading U-Boss Vaughn, I'm going to say the modern incarnation is amazing, right?
Yeah.
Because I know in a good way, just in like, oh my god, you're so terrible sort of way. I don't know if you read anything pre that point, before like Crisis.
No.
Okay, I'll just give you a quick lowdown, right? So his initial adventure, like when Barry initially counted him, a Flash costume got sent to the future with an atomic clock or whatever, right?
Yeah.
U-Boss Form found it. It's like, oh yeah, I will use this to gain stuff. Like, it's the Flash's costume. I idolize the Flash. I'm going to use this and somehow take the remnants of super speed,
as you do,
and imbue myself with it from this costume, which is not logical, right? Yeah. And somehow it reverses out the colors as well. Whatever. Barry arrives in the future to stop that atomic clock bomb from going off. And yeah, rival Flash, Reverse Flash is like, nah, you ain't taking it away. He assumes the Reverse Flash is the menace who has hidden the bomb. And the Reverse Flash is like, oh, Flash has come back to take away my speed. Take back his costume, right? And then, so he captures the Reverse Flash, U-Boss Vaughn, Professor Zoom. And then he's like, nah, mate, I don't know nothing about no bomb. I just didn't want you to take the costume back because, you know, I don't want... Yeah. So Barry just runs to the site where U-Boss Vaughn got the costume because that's where the bomb is, and he debunked that.
Yeah.
Some other crazy stuff he's done is somehow he fell in love with Iris West. I'm like, all you ever do is menace the Flash, right?
Yeah.
How did you encounter Iris enough times to fall in love with her, right? And then try to get plastic. I don't know how he got plastic surgery or whatever, right? But basically, he tried to make himself look like Barry Allen on Barry Allen's wedding day, so he could try and marry Iris. I'm like, what? All right. And then he's like, oh, Iris, I love you, right? But because Barry has you, yeah. She rebuffs him, of course, because like it's not like, oh, a rejection because I don't like her. You're a psycho, Professor Zoom. I don't get your logic. Nothing. All you do is terrorize my husband, yeah, and you expect me to accept you? What? What was that about?
How's that meant to make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, okay, Iris, I'll tell you what, I give you 24 hours, right, to think about my deal, yeah, that I will. That you could go out with me, yeah? I will allow you to go out with me, otherwise I will kill you. Then you got 20 hours to think about it. I was like, what? And then what he's gonna, then he hypnotized them not to know about the conversation, but enough to remember that the conversation did happen. I'm like, Zoom? I don't get that logic.
There is no logic.
Well, here's the thing. She died, right? Iris got killed, and then I think personally, I think they kind of had to backtrack who killed her. Or they thought about it afterwards, or they were like they wanted Zoom to kill her, whatever it is. But the meet in between, they hadn't thought, so they just kind of, oh yeah, well, you know, let's go this way, and it's like, I don't know about that, but whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So he kills. He does the super speed to her brain thing, kills her, and then he glows. Basically, there's like about 8 issues where Flash is trying to capture someone he thinks killed Iris, but it's not.
Yeah.
And then Zoom's like, "Yeah, I know who killed Iris. I know who killed Iris." Cliffhanger, right, of that comic book. Barry escapes the death trap, and then Zoom's like, yeah, does something else, right? To like basically just taunts Barry, saying, "Yeah, I know you killed your wife, but what, and he tricks Barry into jumping into the future.
Yeah.
And then Zoom's like, "All right, well, now what I'm gonna do is record myself on a video, explaining exactly how I killed Iris, and then I'm gonna take a nap because it's so tiring killing Iris and telling exactly why I did it." Yeah.
Oh god.
Just so Barry could watch it.
Yeah.
And say, "Zoom, why did you do that?" Oh,
makes no sense.
Yeah. The convenience of that entire thing. It was like,
Wow.
And then they have a fight.
Yeah.
And Zoom, Barry, what's he do? They go into Zoom's, like, he tries to drop Zoom back into the future because using the time traveling thing, that not the cosmic treadmill, some other thing, right?
Yeah.
And then Zoom's like, "No, Barry, you doomed us all because if anyone but me feels them controls, it will take us to like space, time, whatever, right?" And Barry's like, "Well, you know what? Yeah, and we're gonna get crushed by a black hole and die." Barry's like, "Nah, mate, I'm just gonna vibrate through here because I ain't gonna die with you, Zoom."
Okay.
And I probably can't survive. But if you're saying you don't think you can survive a black hole, you don't think you can survive outside of time and space, that's on your head.
That's your beef. Yeah.
Yeah. And that, and then somehow Zoom escapes, right? Professor Zoom.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, Barry, I killed your first wife, yeah? You're about to marry Fiona Webb. I'm gonna go and murder her as well."
Oh.
Which is okay. So there's a bit of So Fiona Webb has another name because she was put in witness protection because her boss was a mobster.
Yeah.
Oh, she unveiled her boss as a mobster. Her boss as a mobster who was looking exactly like Barry Allen, which people assume, like in the world of comics, right? Outside of kayfabe, because they continue because Barry has a twin brother.
Oh yeah.
So they just assume that is the identity of Barry's twin brother, like an alias, which would make more sense. But I don't think they've got officially confirmed it. They haven't denied it because no one's put the link together.
Okay.
Anyways, so she falls in love with Barry. They go to get married. Zoom's like, nah, Barry, you'll just come down to ruin your wedding day as usual. And he's just like, he spends the whole issue just gloating over Barry, right?
Yeah.
And Barry then finally runs over. Zoom's just like, "Oh, remember this? My bringing hand trick that I did on Iris." Yeah, same stuff right here from Fiona Webb. And as he's going to do it, Barry grabs Zoom from behind, and basically Zoom just kind of keels over.
Yeah.
And Barry's grabbing up his costume, saying, "Yeah, first of all, he checks Fiona Webb's all right. Then he runs back to Zoom and he's like, 'Come on, Zoom, I'm going to take you out of here.' Just, and Zoom just not responding. I'd like to say, in my own headcanon, right? Zoom, Professor Zoom's head just wobbling side to side.
Oh,
not connected to his neck anymore.
Yeah.
And like Barry lifts him up from, the costume on the chest, yeah? And Zoom's head just like rolling, just completely
flipping side
completely,
to side.
Yeah, his head's touching the back of his actual back.
Yeah.
And then Barry Allen goes on his murder trial because he broke Zoom's neck.
Yeah.
So that's that pre-crisis.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because I think Zoom after his death caused more havoc with Barry's life than before because he's got for trial and then everyone's like turning on the Flash.
Yeah.
And then Barry's like, well, even though he's a cop, right? You would have thought his justifiable homicide, right? He's a cop
because it is. Well, yeah.
Except that for some reason, right, they don't go by that logic.
Okay.
So just to wrap up the murder trial, which is kind of insane, Iris comes from the 30th century.
Okay.
Yeah, I know in the CW and everything like that, right?
Yeah.
She comes from the future, beyond the future of Zoom.
Okay.
So her parents transferred her consciousness into another body so she could still be alive. Barry, on the other hand, sorry?
Right, you're gonna have to wait. Her parents did that.
Her parents that are in the 30th century because that's where she was born. Yeah.
Iris is originally from the 30th century.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, sure.
Okay,
okay,
so they were like, so Barry's like, right, I'm gonna go to Gorilla City, right? He got beat up by someone, right? Like one of his Flash adventures. Yeah, had a big fight, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna run to Gorilla City and get plastic surgery to change my face, right? Because if then I can just live my life because they don't know who I am, you know.
Okay.
People might, if they put two together, say Flash is Barry Allen, whatever, right? Even though, like you said, like we were saying, you could just be like, if you don't feel, so the trial goes ahead, and then Flash's lawyer's like, yeah, well, the reason he killed Fiona Webb is because he's Barry Allen, right? And Barry Allen was going to murder. Barry Allen was going to marry Fiona Webb, and Fiona Webb was murdered by Professor Zoom. So, a crime of passion, kind of. Flash, reveal your identity. He takes off his mask. He's a whole different guy underneath.
Okay.
Because he got plastic surgery. Yeah, and he's like, okay, you shattered your entire defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is funny because his blonde hair's got black hair and different features and stuff like that. Yeah. So he get whisked away to the 30th century.
Yeah.
To live with Iris for an extended bit before he goes to into Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah.
But he looks like Barry Allen there. So what did they fix his face after he jumped in the future?
Maybe because he went to the future, the plastic surgery disintegrated because it can't stand future timeline.
Yeah,
something stupid.
But our boy Yuval Thorne, right? Like, we'll get to the nuttiness after Rebirth, right?
Yeah.
But as you just recently read, The Return of Barry Allen. What did you think? Because it's relevant to this conversation. What did you think of that?
I thought it was good. I kind of near the beginning, gathered the twist. What the twist was going to be when he started going like nutsy. I was like, okay, I kind of think I know where it's going. But how they did it's pretty good.
Yeah, but and also though, if you'd known that Zoom's neck, because they kind of, I know they don't want to foreshadow Zoom in case people thought it Professor Zoom, right? But they need to explain there that Zoom has his neck broken and is dead at this point.
I mean, Reverse Flash.
Sorry, Reverse. Yeah, Professor Zoom. Yeah. Because then people that if he's dead, they don't expect him to make an appearance anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually, like you're saying, right? I really enjoyed the storyline because Barry came back after he got disintegrated in Crisis on Infinite Earths, and Wally's now the Flash.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm Barry Allen, and everyone's like, yep, you're the hero of that saved us from the crisis and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And he acts like Barry Allen for the first couple of issues.
Yeah. So you kind of believe it.
Then you get to the point where the Combine, which is like a terrorist organization, they're like, all right, we're gonna go like Jay Garrick's there, Wally West is there, Barry Allen's there, right? And the Combine just shoot out a massive ray or something like that, and you like kind of knock the Flashes back, and Wally West gets buried under rubble, and they're like, yes, they're gloating, they're mugging on the camera, and again, we killed the Flash, and Barry's like, you did what? And he races towards them, right? Massive sonic boom and everything like that, beats them all up, right? And Wally runs over there to stop him, right? To stop Barry, and Barry just kind of like drops the combined guy, like the armored combined people, and then kind of walks off.
Yeah.
And it's revealed that Barry didn't get upset and beat them all up because Wally was dead, right? It was the nerve of the combined people to dare say they killed the Flash when Barry Allen's the one true Flash.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's like,
But
okay.
then I think the next issue plays it pretty well, where you don't know if it's Wally's paranoia
Yeah,
getting on
yeah,
him, or genuinely just he's misinterpreting Barry's actions. Even though he isn't, he's just still in hero worship denial.
yeah.
He's like, oh, when you get an abuser, and you're like, no, maybe they didn't mean
Yeah,
that.
maybe they didn't
Yeah,
mean that. They
yeah,
did it
yeah,
out of love, but no.
yeah.
Mm.
But then everything's like, he's like, Barry's like, nah, I'm just gonna leave you in a death trap, and he's
Yeah.
like, what?
Bye. Wait, what?
Yeah. And obviously it turns out it was not it turns out it wasn't Barry all along. It was Eubor Thorne
Mm-hmm.
as the Reverse Flash,
But
who had mental a mental breakdown. That do you want to explain this?
okay, because it kind of confused me.
Yeah.
So he's a different Eobard Fawn, right?
No. He's pre the very first Eubor Thorne.
Okay, but then isn't from what I know, doesn't Eobard Fawn becomes all messed up when he? Oh, wait. So after this, when he goes back to the
Yeah.
future and he's got his memory wiped,
Yeah.
is that when he does the whole I'm gonna be the Flash and create accidents in the future so people?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense to me now.
Yeah, because he's always had a niggling, mental. Something about the Flash, right?
Yeah,
And this is what it is, except that it's not the Barry Allen Flash; it's the
it's the
Wally
Wally
West
West
Flash.
Flash. Okay, that makes sense now.
And then, but then it trickled into he assumed the Flash was Barry Allen,
Mm.
and then everything goes. You could say Wally kind of was the cause of all the problems, but not really, because Zoom's Professor Zoom Uniform's mania is the cause of all the problems.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
because it basically explains that Uniform's a massive Barry Allen fanboy,
Yeah.
like Wally West himself, right?
Yeah.
Except they both went different routes, exactly with their how they dealt with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and also funny is, so this is Yubel form before he knows he has any of the Flash abilities, right?
Yeah.
This is pre everything, yeah.
Yeah.
And suddenly, when he can do all the stuff that Woody can't do, and I'm like,
That's another thing that confused me. But yeah.
no, but when you apply the logic, right, it works perfectly. So Barry is a scientist, and he thinks of it in a scientific manner, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Do this by this, and that's the end result. Wally is more intuitive about it, does stuff, and he doesn't think about it. So if you start telling him what to do about certain things, I don't want to say, but it tweaks him to go wrong because he's trying to concentrate on wrong things.
Yeah. I get what you mean.
It's just mean like, if you let him be, he'll make it.
Yeah.
Yubor Fawn, somehow he's got his vibration abilities and the super speed and all his whirlwind abilities and all that stuff, right? And in my head, canon, it's just because he's seen Barry do this and he assumes he is Barry.
Yeah, makes sense.
And he never thinks why he shouldn't be able to do it. So therefore he can.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, and I was like, yeah.
So weird.
So yeah, essentially, yeah, this is from this point where Yubor Fawn becomes, I don't want to say necessarily a Flash fanboy or whatever, but this is why he always had the problems with Barry Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Technically, yeah, this is yeah. When you got the prequel to the sequel.
Huh?
When you get a prequel to the sequel, yeah?
Yeah.
This is it. And then all that stuff that happens in the Silver Age happens after this.
Okay.
And then it explains, of course, logically speaking, why Zoom has Professor Zoom has so he got the costume, Barry's costume went to the future, and he could extrapolate the speed force powers from that, right? How story-wise, you're like, okay, fine, right? But if you're saying he had those abilities beforehand, he got his memory wiped, and then he can have super speed, okay, it makes more sense.
Yeah. Still weird, but yeah.
But I like the logic of essentially he he got his face changed to Barry Allen, right? Such a fanboy here, yeah. Such an he just desires to be Barry Allen that much.
Yeah.
I think this actually makes his turn later on even better because he's so obsessed with Barry Allen that he wants to be Barry Allen. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he sees himself as the main villain that destroyed Barry's life, and sees that Barry killed him.
Yeah.
And so he has a mental breakdown. And he's like, if he, in his mind, if he is Barry Allen, then he can't kill himself because he won't die. Like, all right, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, you're like, you know what, Zoom? You're maniac. Like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
But this might be the most sound plan you had.
Yeah. Such weirdness.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's him for now.
Yeah.
Okay, I know we're talking about reverse flashes, right? How much you want to go into detail of Cobalt Blue, the reverse Barry Allen?
I don't know much about him.
Okay, essentially, right. And it is relevant.
Yeah.
Malcolm Thorne, that's Barry Allen's twin brother.
Okay.
So the history is Nora Allen was given birth and to twins, right?
Okay.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Okay. And I say somehow because it's never been mentioned before. And the doctor who was doing it, because they had to drive out in the wet thunderstorm, whatever. The Thorns also, another family, the Thorns, just happened to be going to that place as well. Yeah. And he accidentally strangled their kid with the umbilical cord because the lights went out.
Okay.
And because he was drunk as well.
Yeah.
So he grabbed one of the Allen twins.
Yeah.
And gave it to the Thorns. And then said to Nora Allen, oh yeah, one of your twins did not survive. Okay.
Okay.
So that guy became Malcolm. That guy, Barry Allen's twin, was Malcolm Thorne, who then become, the ancestor of Yuval Thorne. Yeah.
Okay.
So they were related all along. Yeah.
But then isn't it incest?
What do you mean?
Because isn't Bart Allen?
Yeah.
Isn't he technically?
Well, from the 30th century, so you're so far removed from your own.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
But that's like saying, for example, like in 1,000 years' time, your cousin, right?
Yeah.
May have some blood in someone like that your great double, triple great grandson removed will get with, yeah?
Yeah.
But, at that point, you're not related no more.
Yeah, makes sense though. Yeah.
Even though, that's where the origin of the Thorne Allen feud was.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Whatever.
Yeah.
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 So then we get to. So at what point, by the way, did you start reading? Who was the first reverse flash that you encountered?
Probably.
This is most stuff I encountered after.
Yeah, because the one I encountered first really was Zoom.
Hunter
Solomon, yeah.
Was that in that Blitz storyline?
Yes.
Wait, did you encounter it during that? Because, like you, I also was like, oh yeah, this is a reverse. I've seen the reverse flash before because of his costume. So I was like, oh wait, I think I got the Return of Barry Allen storyline first, right? But when I started collecting Flash,
yeah,
was when that storyline was happening because I was like, oh, how did this guy come back, right?
Yeah.
And then it obviously turns out to be a whole different guy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Their powers are not even the same either. Awesome.
Yeah. But no, who was to know at the time, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I got it from part 2 of Blitz.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you encounter Hunter Solomon before that?
Before he was Zoom, yeah, because they kind of introduced him as the. Oh, I want to say crime scene.
The
criminal
profiler, right?
Yeah, criminal profiler guy. Yeah, and we led up to him getting his back broken by Grodd and all that stuff in Iron Heights. Yeah, that's when I First encounter.
And then he tried to use the cosmic treadmill.
Yeah. And then he became who he is now.
Yeah. And the thing is, right? They gave his backstory of because they do that. I like what Jeff does. He does it in issues where it's just a solo issue, concentrating on the villain.
Yeah.
Of the story, or whatever. Not necessarily of the story, but he just take out an issue of the Flash and be like, "This is a villain profile issue." Yeah. Explains them why they are the way they are.
He's good at that.
Yeah.
He's super good at that.
And Hunter Zolomon. This is after he put himself in after the explosion of the cosmic treadmill, right? Where he's like, I'm gonna use the cosmic treadmill, Wally. Right, Wally, you can unbreak my back if you go back in time. And Wally's like, no, time travel is kind of, nah, we shouldn't be doing that because that's wacky stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, well, fine, I'll do it anyways. And causes an explosion, gets frozen in time. It looks like.
Yeah.
And then gets put in a hospital bed.
Yeah. And he wakes up, and everything's frozen, and that's when he realizes he gets up and like, wait, I can walk again. But why is everything moving? That's when he sort of realizes, oh, I could control time and spend it around me and manipulate it. Yeah,
and then they give the backstory of how he was profiled. His dad's a killer. His dad killed his mum, so he became a criminal profiler, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I get that logic, right?
Yeah, kind of.
And then he was like, all right, so certain. Like, who did he get with? Ashley, I can't remember her name, but Ashley Zolomon, right? His wife.
Yeah.
The lady to become his wife.
Yeah.
Basically, he's working in the police with her dad. And he's like, yeah, the guy in there murdering people, he has murdered people.
Yeah.
The clown, he won't have a gun.
Yeah, because that's not his MO. He doesn't use guns. Yeah.
Turns out he did have a gun, and he shot the dad, and then he shot the hunter's leg, and then Ashley Zolomon's like, I don't know what he'd say it was because of that, just because of other situations happening, right?
Yeah,
she got a divorce from him.
How I took that is that he always blamed himself for it, even though she didn't blame him, and that's why he got divorced. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't think she directly was blaming him for it, but I think his guilt was too much and caused a rift, which is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But it gives the backstory of him. You're like, all right, understand, right? And he's like, oh yeah. So somehow he fabricates a Zoom costume, right? Even though that's not how his powers work, like you're saying, yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, as well, I'm not sure if you noticed, right? Professor Zoom's costume is just Barry's reverse colored.
Yeah.
So the lightning still is the same way as Barry's costume.
Yeah.
However, Zoom's costume is flipped.
Everything's flipped. Because even like the treads on his shoes are flipped as well.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, that's awesome.
So when Yuba Form comes back, his costume is also flipped.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, never used to be.
No.
But all right.
Sure.
Yeah. What do you think of and then he's basically just beating up Wally, just slapping Wally across the I don't want to say universe, right? But he's appeared in some good storylines, and his motivations kind of made sense because they're like, even though I want to say they're not sensible. But at least there's logic behind them, right? Whereas Yuba Forms don't even make sense.
No, yeah, you're right. He's just I'm petty and I'm just gonna keep being petty too.
Well, that's the first incarnation, right?
Yeah.
And then the second incarnation, I want to say the second the Wally West obsessive fanboy incarnation, and then he just because his idol rejected him, he goes into a third incarnation, Yuba Form. I would say there's layers to him, right? There's not, but there's different things that push him to do certain things at different points in time.
I think the third incarnation, he's the most pettiest one of them all.
Yeah.
Everything he does, you're like...
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. But so I like the storylines that Zoom was in. Like stuff he did was like, how do you defeat someone if you have to go to that level of speed to do it, right?
Yeah.
So he got a bit tricky to write for.
Yeah.
even though you're like, he's kind of a cool character, but one, he can't get any faster than he. Well, he can get faster, but really, he's already at the like he's the maximum he could probably go logically.
Yeah.
And he had to use Jesse Quick's speed formula to basically freeze time around him.
Yeah.
Which then they had a fight for only a second, but for them, they zoomed. They went across the world multiple times.
Yeah.
Well, that ice epic. And he, but then it's like, okay, now you got this grandiose bad guy who has these proper abilities beyond you, right? Because he's moving in time.
Yeah.
And so he'll always be ahead of you. When you're moving at super speed, right? With reactions to also compensate for that, right?
Yeah.
And you, but he will, if he can manipulate the flow of time around him, you're never going to reach him.
No.
Until the Speed Force is supernatural, whatever, right?
Yeah. But time's a real thing.
The first time you defeat him with something out of the ordinary, fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
But the second time, how are you going to do that? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to say it's tricky to do something more creative with certain things. I mean, if you're Batman, right, and your enemies are of a different style, you can do different things. But when it's just like my ability is speed, right? His ability is speed, but his speed is beyond my speed.
Yeah, where'd you go off with that?
Exactly. Yeah. I thought I I did 100% like the link of Zoom moving in time because of, the cosmic travel fused him with a random wormhole or whatever it is, the center of the timeline, however you want to do it, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, yeah, makes sense. Also, because Wally West, you haven't experienced tragedy like I have, because tragedy can break a man, right? Yeah. I will cause you tragedy, and you'll be a stronger man for it.
And you'll thank me. Like, I don't think that's how it works.
Yeah. No, you can't tell him how it works. He's a criminal profiler. He knows how it works.
Yeah.
Like, okay, all right. I mean, if you say so.
Because like some of the stuff he says is like, you'll be my best friend after all this. Like, I doubt that you killed his child.
Yeah. Both of them.
Yeah. I don't think you could become friends with someone after that.
Oh, thank you for killing my kids. Yeah. Oh, shut up. No, but he's actually quite a tragic character because you can hate him. Like, he's not. You kind of like, all right, dude. You've lost your mind because of what happened to you, right?
Yeah.
I like what I don't want to say it's like you partially pity the guy. You get where he's coming from, right? So you're like, just sort it out, man. Just go see a therapist or something, man. Whereas you before, you're like, no.
Yeah, dude.
He's just there to be hated.
Yeah. He has no redeeming factors about him.
Yeah.
At least Zoom kind of does.
Yeah.
And they kind of rectify that later on.
Yeah. Do you want to go on to? Are we moving on to? Are we going to finish Zoom, or are we going to wrap up when we? Are we going to try to do this in continuity wise?
Because who's next continuity wise then?
Oh no, I mean a story. Like, are we going to take the story beats continuity wise? And next continuity wise is Savitar. Oh no, we missed him. Savitar.
Oh yeah.
Was before this, and then Inertia's after this.
Okay, let's quickly talk about Savitar because then we can kind of link.
Yeah.
Zoom, Reverse Flash, and Inertia all in the same sort of thing because they all kind of link together in a way. Yeah.
So, Savitar.
Oh yeah, after this we'll do Daniel West as well.
Oh yeah.
Poor guy.
And the odd fake. I don't want to say the fake. The odd Reverse Flash of the New 52, which then got rewritten over.
Yeah.
And he was so reversed, he had a square symbol instead of a circle. Ooh. Yeah. So, quickly run about Savitar. He's basically not the CW version where he's like time remnant of Barry Allen. He's like
Megatron.
He's like, oh yeah, I have the. He's like so. Max Mercury is the Zen Guru of Speed, who actually legit existed as Quicksilver in the 1930s or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
But because he couldn't be Quicksilver again because Marvel got Quicksilver. They changed him to, you got to be fast, like what do you say? Like sand, like quicksand, like I don't know what he was, but he says like Quicksilver, like Mercury, and then he's like Max Mercury. Okay, fair enough.
Sure.
He's retconned to have encounters with Savitar.
Yeah.
And each time to get rid of like Max from the 18th century keeps on jumping time forward, right? Because he gets a call from the Speed Force, but he's like, I don't want to bond with it because what if the great unknown, right?
Yeah, the unknown.
So he kind of drops out of it, and he drops out into the future every, I don't know, say 10 years or whatever it is, but the time skips along.
Yeah.
Encounter Jay Garrick, encounter Johnny Quick as well, who doesn't have a reverse flash, strangely enough.
Oh yeah.
And also there's another reverse flash we've got to speak about, Lady Flash, but we'll get to that as well.
Okay.
Because it's in the story.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's like, so Max Mercury basically lured Savitar into the Speed Force because Savitar's like, I'm gonna be one with this, right? This is my world. I'm gonna own the Speed Force and make it my underling.
Yep.
Or whatever it is, right? And Max Mercury's like, yeah, you take this. Right? He throws him further into it, and so he jumps out years later.
Yeah.
By the time Wally West is the Flash.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, well, there's a person who has a connection with the Speed Force that is stronger than mine. I'll just have to eliminate him, of course. So that's what brings him into conflict with Wally.
Oh, okay.
Like, Wally was chosen by the Speed Force, though.
Yeah.
And Speed Force... The Speed Force as a concept never existed before Wally.
No.
Yeah.
It's his thing.
Yeah, exactly. And by Savitar's side is Christina something, right? Who has been Lady Flash at one point.
Okay.
Because Wally saved her. She's like, oh, you know what? I she's aimless, right?
Yeah.
So she'll just kind of stick to whoever. She became Lady Flash. And obviously, her and Jessie Quick have the designated girl fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you do. Yeah.
So you can argue she's, Jessie Quick's reverse Flash.
Yeah.
But they don't really do that much with them. It's just like, oh, well, they're the girls. And I don't know if I want to punch a girl in the face. Oh, we'll get another girl to punch her in the face. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Equal.
And Savitar basically is only in one story, that Dead Heat storyline.
Yeah, because he comes back again, Rebirth. I mean,
yeah. Well,
the Flash Rebirth for like 2 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so as far as this bit is like, he made a decent impact and unveiled certain other things that you could do with the Speed Force.
Yeah.
That what he hadn't realized you could do, because like super speed healing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
it cost you in the pocket dimension and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, rebuild your costume out of the Speed Force and all this craziness.
Yeah. Madness.
Yeah. So Wally basically is like, oh, you want to be one with the Speed Force? Here you go. Get in there, boy. Right. And Wally has run through the Speed Force before. I don't know if you read Terminal Velocity.
I don't think I have.
All right. Well, I mean, it's not relevant to the Reverse Flash thing, but it's actually a really good story of Wally going into the Speed Force.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, obviously, as you know, he's not absorbed by it, but there's reasons why. Even though, it's like he just chose not to get bonded with it. But he's like, Savitar, you want to get with it? Here you go, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. And now I'm trying to work out, right? Okay, so now we need to skip back to Savitar.
Yeah.
Because when Barry comes back... No, we got to go to U-Boat Dawn again, right? This is where we get the crazy nutty version. Because in Rebirth...
Oh, yeah.
U-Boat Dawn kills the Black Flash.
Yeah.
So he can create his negative Speed Force.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't kill the Black Flash. He tries to get Barry... He tries to use his negative... He get rid of the Black Flash, creating a negative Speed Force, so Barry's positive Speed Force gets corrupted, and Barry becomes the Black Flash.
Yeah. And
Savitar tries to jump out of the Speed Force. Barry grabs him to try and stop him, and then Savitar crumbles to death because he's like, "You, Alan, you're the Black Flash."
Yeah, and then yes,
which is also we get Lady Flash making an appearance. Well, she's not Lady Flash. She's like the cult of Savitar Flash girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically she's like, because the lightning's calling her. Yeah.
Yeah.
And because Savitar's are going to come back. And Wally and Barry are around the corpse of the Black Flash, and somehow she gets the drop on Wally.
Yeah.
She smacks him around a couple of times, and then she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get you." Then Barry's able to take her, right? Which I don't mind, but it's just like, okay, so this guy's right next to you, right?
Yeah.
You've managed to hit Wally West a good couple of times, right? And Barry Allen's just like standing there going, "Yeah, I'm gonna watch that happen, and then I'm gonna do something." What? All right.
That's how comic book heroes work,
Yeah. If you had Barry crouching over the Black Flash, trying to do crime scene stuff, and then Wally get attacked, like because he's searching around, like let's gather evidence around it. Then one would make a bit more sense.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's that. And so Savitar made 2 appearances so far, right?
Yeah.
Yuba Thorne, I think this is where he's like, "Oh, Barry, I killed your mom."
Yeah.
Which never happened in continuity.
No, but
before.
Now. Yeah.
Well, it's easy. Yeah. So Yuba Thorne's the convenience of the negative Speed Force allows Yuba Thorne to rewrite time that only affects a specific people's continuity.
I believe so.
And he doesn't even affect his own continuity, because this is where he gets. Okay, so do you want to explain how he taunts Barry Allen first, and then we'll get into how he rewrites his own stuff?
Yeah. So after this, because it's during Rebirth where we find out that Eobon Thawne has manipulated Barry's life ever since. So, like, when he was a kid, he pushed him down the stairs, so he broke his arm. He leave a gate open or something, so his pet ran away. Just really weird, petty stuff he does.
Yeah. And then he's like, so Barry had this black kid who was his friend, and then next thing you know, I think they're playing in the bush, throwing baseball in the, like, you know how it is when you get the baseball just goes into the bushes. And then Yuba was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna disappear this guy."
Yeah.
And then Barry never had a best friend. I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's just weird, like, petty, messed up stuff.
Yeah. Like you said, pushed him down the stairs and all this other stuff. And it's like, yeah. And then he's like, I can't kill Barry though. I can't kill Barry.
Yeah, because if you kill Barry, then you can't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
so then one day he's like, you know what? I'm gonna kill Barry's mum and blame his dad for it. So that happens. Yeah. You're like, oh, okay. That's strange.
I mean,
whatever. Cool.
Well,
not
I mean, the mania of Yuba Thawne, when you get into more of the stuff that he does, and there's no logic behind it.
No.
I mean, like, I want to say first there's pettiness and stuff like that, but then it starts just being, I'm just gonna do it because it's just consumed my whole life.
Yeah,
I've got nothing else to do but this.
Yeah, it's wow.
Yeah,
great guy. Too much
yeah,
time,
so basically, all right. So what's also wacky is, okay, so they deal with Professor Zoom, right, in that storyline.
Yeah.
Then Blackest Night comes along. Okay.
Yeah.
Because they're all wondering how does Zoom get resurrected in order to resurrect Barry? Well, Blackest Night comes along, right, and certain key people that are dead get resurrected because they're gonna influence the future somehow. So Thawne gets resurrected, right? Thawne's in jail, locked up or whatever in Iron Heights, yeah. And Thawne's corpse from way back when Barry snapped his neck gets a Black Lantern ring.
Yeah.
So he's alive and dead at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, right?
Yeah.
And the dead Thawne, obviously, he's not realized that he's going to come back to life. So, oh, Barry, you killed me, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to get you, boy.
He's like,
that sort of thing.
Yeah. Like, Barry's like, okay, you're alive over there, but sure. Okay.
Yeah, cool. Exactly.
Nutcase.
Yeah, and so what happens is how do you deal with that?
Doesn't he? Isn't he one of the people get resurrected?
Yeah. By the
White
by
Lantern.
the white being of life or whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it. Yeah. Also, he could then also that his future self can resurrect Barry in Rebirth, which happened before.
Yeah.
But in Thor's timeline, happens after.
Yeah. That's just hurt my head. But
and then everyone just shrugs their shoulders and says, time travel, that be, kind of that crazy stuff,
Oh, time travel. DC's worst enemy. But yeah.
I bet you if you tried to get everything from Professor Zoom's Yubor Form's appearances and tried to make an actual timeline of it,
you couldn't.
It would not still make sense.
No,
because they haven't planned out exactly what they haven't written. Because they're writing their story as they're going along. They haven't worked out when he's going to reappear backwards and there. But they just say, time travel is how he does it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. Which then we have to go to Inertia.
Yeah.
Bart Allen's Reverse Flash.
Yeah. Who is a clone of Bart Allen, a twisted clone of Bart Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who has blonde hair instead of brown
hair.
Yeah.
And has instead of a I want to say, would you say Bart Allen's costume is white? But not really, right? It's kind of cream.
Oh, what is Impulse costume or Reverse or Kid Flash costume?
It's an Impulse costume.
I say it's like, I don't know, because maybe silver.
Well, yeah, and that's just kind of the reverse of that because it's like, well, red's like inverse of green and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't do much, right?
No.
At the same time, I think his best call to fame is he managed to get Barrett. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bart Wally West disappeared in the Speed Force.
Yeah.
So
he disappeared into the Speed Force, taking Superboy Prime into the Speed Force.
Yeah. So Bart Allen came out of the Speed Force. He's like, now I'm aged like 5 years plus.
Yeah.
I shall be the Flash, right?
Yeah.
Inertia's like, nah, I've dealt with you when you was Impulse, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill you because you can't graduate. If I can't graduate because I hate you, right?
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Because he's the temperamental kid, right? Who thinks he's better than some other temperamental kid.
Yeah.
Well, no, I want to say Bart Allen's temperamental. He just doesn't consider certain. He thinks on the fly, sort of thing, right?
Yeah. Well, even though he grew up a lot during that time in the Speed Force, becomes back kind of opposite as he was when he was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's seen messed up stuff, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen some messed up stuff.
Messed up stuff, man.
Yeah. So there's that. And basically he gets all the rogues kind of to beat up and kill Kid Flash.
Yeah.
Bart Allen.
Yeah.
And then
because something happens where them two lose their powers.
Yeah.
And they race to something. And Bart stops the MacGuffin, whatever in the story is, from happening. And the Rose gets scared and like beat Bart to death.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's what it was. When Wally was coming back for the Speed Force.
Yeah.
They lost their powers. Yeah. That was it.
So Wally comes back, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, when he finds out what Inertia killed Bart.
Yeah.
Even though I will say, what's his name? Wally and Bart were. I'm not saying necessarily beefing, right? They didn't. They had their issues between them, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, right. So you killed this kid, right? You killed Bart Allen, who tried to take the mantle of the Flash.
Yeah.
And you killed him out of spite rather than actual, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I tell you what I'm gonna do. Like basically, Inertia tries to run away from Wally. Wally's like, no,
dude. I'm the master of Speed Force.
Exactly, I'm the fastest man alive. I don't even know what you think you're trying to do. Yeah. And he's like, okay, I tell you killed Bart, right? And then Nurse's like, yeah, but you're not gonna kill me. You're the Flash. You're a hero.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, okay, I'll give you something. I'll give you this, right? I will take away your speed. I will take away everything about you, right? So it'll take you thousands of years just to blink.
Yeah.
I'll put you in the Flash Museum, and you'll be staring at a Bart Allen statue, that Impulse statue, for all of time. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, you look at something that you can never be, and like,
no. I'm like, that's a punishment and a half.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that is
like, yeah, you know.
Oh,
but then his story. Sorry, go on.
Rather than saying, then Inertia comes back to die.
yeah. So exactly. So Zoom with his time manipulation powers, right? Yeah. Hunter Solomon.
Yeah.
Like, well, Flash has a kid Flash. Yeah. So I shall have a kid Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense.
So he unlatches Inertia from the punishment, that the time, whatever punishment that the speed absorption punishment that Wally put him in, right?
Yeah.
And he says, I want to teach you how to. You don't need the Speed Force anymore, right?
Yeah.
I'll teach you how to use time like I use time, right? Yeah. You can leech off my abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Inertia's like, yeah. I tell you what I do, yeah. I just keep on taking your abilities. I take them all from you. Yeah. Because why not, right?
Yeah.
And he just basically reverts Hunter Solomon back into a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm Kid Zoom. I'm gonna go and menace about the world. I'm gonna go and kill the Flash. Whatever I'm gonna do, right? And the bros are like, nah. We accidentally killed Bart Allen. The Flash is now. So when Wally West was the Flash, he dealt with things differently than Barry, because Barry's like, I'm a cop, so if I'm right, these guys are wrong.
Yeah.
I like the way that Wally dealt with him. It's like, because he turned some of his enemies into friends. Or
Piper. Yeah.
Yeah, he got alliances or frosty truces and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even in like how he dealt with him in the cartoons, Justice League Unlimited, where he was talking to the Trickster.
Yeah. That's
and the Trickster's like, he's started committing some crimes, going to a bar, drink it off, and Wally's like, look, are you off your meds? Because you got to take them. They make you do. If you don't have them, you start doing these things. And he's like, oh no, I know Flash, but I can't help it, right? Because I'm a criminal. It's like, yeah, but that's why you need to take your medication.
Yeah, he's like, you know what, Flash, you're right. Yeah,
exactly. And Batman's like, are you gonna throw him in jail, right?
Yeah.
And Flash is like, oh yeah, just give me a second, right? Trickster, when you finish with your drink, you should walk yourself to jail. You have to give yourself up to them crimes. And he's like,
we'll do Flash.
Like, yeah, sure thing. I will. You can believe me, Flash. I will. And he does it not sarcastic, like, so it sounds sarcastic, but it actually is genuine.
Yeah.
And then the Batman's looking at Wally West going, what is this? What is this?
I would have punched that guy in the face. Yeah, Batman,
exactly. I'd have crippled him, sent him to the hospital, and his hospital walls would jump up and they have to commit war crimes to go and pay them off,
Yeah. Jokes, man.
Yeah. But that's I think like, even in the comics, there was showing that when Barry Allen was like, the Rose looked at Barry Allen a bit differently than they looked at Wally West, because I'm gonna say it was less casual. I mean, it's more casual, less personal with Wally West.
Yeah.
I mean, they did stuff, he did stuff, and he'd catch them and stuff like that. But they would never be like definite, like, mortal enemies. I'm not saying that series was a game to them, because they obviously did want to get away, but it's just less like,
you caught me this time, Flash, sort of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and at this point we go to Rebirth. No, the DC Rebirth.
Well, Flashpoint, that's got Airborne Forward in it, so we already kind of discussed that.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
Then we go to New 52, where we get a new Flash.
Yeah.
Reverse Flash.
Reverse Flash.
Yeah. Who, it's kind of a mystery who he is through the whole sort of run of it.
Yeah.
And then we find out that the Reverse Flash is actually Daniel West, Iris's younger brother.
Yeah. At this point as well, Wally West does not exist.
No, not yet.
He's written out continuity.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, so you notice timeline readjustment stuff, right?
Yeah.
Logically, I was always thinking, I know you before's immune to it somehow, right? You want to say the connection to Speed Force, yeah?
Yeah.
But Zoom Hunter Solomon should also be immune to it, because he's outside of their normal timeline. He's not connected to their timeline.
But I think
even though he's in there, but he's not. You know.
I think he is, because when he comes back, but later on, I think he kind of explains something.
Yeah, he retains his memories because of no. But what I'm saying is, those timeline. He disappeared as well, right?
Yeah.
He disappeared as long as Wally disappeared, but it's just like kind of there's angles where you could use that he could come back. It's like they didn't want to write these characters in, or they haven't figured out a way to do it, and they're like, we'll just ignore them.
Yeah, I think that was their plan, and then they just like people moaning, and we kind of did like screw these characters over. Let's bring them back because they did.
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah, but you were saying about you both fallen in. Oh yeah, no, you were saying about Daniel West, the reverse, that reverse flash.
Yeah, you find out that he's the reverse flash, because if I remember correctly, during an incident, some next dimension got open.
Yeah.
And Daniel West fell into it, and that's how he got his powers.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
I think there was something. I think the patch of the Speed Force was opening, and people were getting speed-based powers or something like that.
Yeah, and
Flash, Barry Allen had to go and fix that stuff.
Yeah, and then he fixed it because a few people got powers. I can't remember the guys like Roscoe. Roscoe.
Oh, I don't want to say necessarily he fixed it, but Daniel West basically. Well, he fixed them by killing them and taking their powers. So
that's how he got stronger, by taking their powers. Yeah. And then.
Oh, and Iris was also infected with right? But the time the Speed Force pools powered her.
Yeah. And then they had a battle. I can't actually remember what happened.
Well, I think they run back in time or something like that. So his dad was beating him. I don't know if they rewrite history as well.
Yeah.
But his grandpa, Daniel West and Iris West's dad was abusive towards him, and he went back to time to kill his dad because he's like, look, that's when I was happiest, was when me and Iris were together.
Yeah, that's cute. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the Flash stops him, obviously.
Yeah.
And then he joins the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a good idea. It was pretty cool.
I'm laughing because I'm like, I know how this ends, right?
Yeah.
They just like dump the guy and basically be like, yo, forget this character. Even though, like you're saying, they could have done stuff with him.
Yeah. And then he saved the world basically by running a bomb into, I want to say,
well, he saved a bunch of, so I want to say something about, there's this like child soldiers, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But basically, he so he had to rescue the parasite.
Yeah.
The parasite grabbed him and absorbed some of his powers, right, to do what he had to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Daniel West is like, oh yeah, at least I got some speed powers. I'm all right. Yeah. Let's go and finish the mission. And then they finish the mission and they're like, yo, yeah, we planted the bomb there, which is going to explode and wipe out all them kids.
Yeah.
And them kids that, even though they try to kill us, but we're talking about 10-year-olds or something like that.
Yeah.
The way they're drawn to look, right?
Yeah.
So he runs back to grab the bomb to throw it into the ocean somewhere.
Yeah.
And he gets caught in its blast radius because he couldn't outrun it because his powers got absorbed by the parasite. Yeah. I'm like, well, what? Not a waste of a guy, but you spent time setting him up. He could have been in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
You could have depowered him somewhat if you don't want him to overpowered, but or you could say his intermittent connection with the Speed Force if you want to say he got bursts of speed or whatever. But you could taper him to a certain level that'd be relevant here, but not to the point where he'd be a menace completely to the Flash.
But you know why I think they did this?
What?
Because it gives Wallace West more of character because his dad's dead.
I will say, I think probably the other reason they did this is because he's called the Reverse Flash.
Yeah.
Right? Professor Zoom is Professor Zoom. Zoom is called Zoom, right?
Yeah.
But the TV show was coming out this time, and they were like, well, if we're calling Reverse Flash, you're before the Reverse Flash. We don't people get mixed up because when they see Daniel West as Reverse Flash.
Yeah.
Whatever. You know? I mean, hey.
Yeah, it makes all the weird sense.
Look. Yeah, I mean, As a Reverse Flash, though, what is he that makes him why is he called the Reverse Flash?
Yeah.
You know?
They didn't have to call him that, you know. They
Yeah,
could took any other like sort of. They could even made him savitar of the New 52, or whatever. You know what I mean? There's some other things they could have done with it, like names they could have used, but
yeah.
yeah.
Even Speed Demon, if they were ever going to bring that guy back, but yeah, he's nothing that was kind of reverse.
No.
Yeah.
But that's what makes Reverse Flash a weird, stupid name as well, because there's nothing reverse. Like we said before.
Wait. We will get to New 52 Reverse Flash, who does have those abilities.
Does he?
Yeah. So, all right. So, New 52 Reverse Flash, the first appearance of Yubor Thorn after Rebirth? No. Sorry. No. New 52 is Rebirth, isn't it? No,
that's after.
Yeah, sorry. New 52 Reverse Zoom.
Yeah.
Reverse Flash.
Yeah.
He has the ability to manipulate time.
Oh.
Yeah, the one with the triangle symbol.
Oh yeah. Well, that weird. Yeah. That's a weird phase of the New 52.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm like, why? Right? I don't. This character, I don't get 100% the logic of it. Do you mind giving the people a lowdown on that?
I didn't really get it either.
Okay.
Because I remember reading this. This is during the time when Superman only had half his powers.
Yeah.
Jim Gordon was Batman Mecha. And Wonder Woman was Wonder Woman, the God of War, which I liked.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, the Flash had a blue costume at some point as well.
Yeah, well, that was the Barry Allen from the future who was trying to save Barry Allen from the past.
Yeah. So yeah, Zoom. Well, Professor.
Which, by the way, is more like Savitar in the you can relate that to at least Savitar in the series, right?
That's
in
probably
the TV series, but
yeah. That came out a bit later. I legit can't really remember because I'm just reading this like I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah. So, you have to correct me if I remember some things here. Yeah. No, I was trying to fob it off to you. I was trying to tag you in so I could gauge what you're saying, try to trigger my memory. Yeah. But it turns out I'm gonna have to be the one doing the carrying. All right. Okay. So as far as I remember, yeah. So this Zoom.
Yeah.
Somehow is connected to the Speed Force from the future. He's also Yubor Thorn, right?
Yeah, with long grey hair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he got warped into when Barry. So he ran into there's a world within the Speed Force or something like that. Some sort of craziness.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, and all where out of time people kind of like crisscross.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he's also there, and he's like, "Yep, I've got the. I want to create the cult of like speed or like he became kind of technically yeah. I want to say the savitar of that world or not, but not really.
Okay. Yeah.
And he basically is like, yeah, I tell you what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to taunt Henry Allen for some reason, right?
Yeah. Which was weird. Yeah.
Yeah. And be like, menace the Flash, and then like, oh yeah, Henry Allen, you owe me and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And then Barry's like, no, I've got to fight this guy. So Reverse Flash, this version of the Reverse Flash with the triangle symbol, with the square symbol is how Flash defeats him is basically like, okay, so Flash, Reverse Flash here can move, like manipulate time, slow down time, right? But Barry Allen moves time forward because he's created the Speed Force or whatever, right? Like, okay, yeah. And that's and by shifting time forward by and running against Zoom, slowing it down, Reverse Flash slowing it down, they kind of equalize. Yeah. Okay. if you say so.
This is so stupid.
Yeah. But yeah, that's that, and it's just like, yeah, I don't get. Okay, neat, but I'm not sure exactly what the logic is behind that character.
No.
Because he just became like like he's not as good iconic as Professor Zoom, the original incarnation, right? And there's so much more back history with that. Here, I know he seems to be like a Barry Allen fanboy as well, but the power of the Flash, but he's not. He's not. He wants to take over, so he's less of a presence, if you know what I mean. He's like he's like, oh yeah, my aims are simple. Whereas Professor Zoom's aims, original Uniform's aims, they're not simple. Well, they are simple, right? But they got a lot of character to them.
Yeah,
it's the best way I can put it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably the nicest way of putting it.
Yeah. So New 52 Zoom, basically, he saw his father murder his mother. He got struck by a lightning bolt, became to, gave him the speed powers, right?
Yeah.
And then he in that city with the speed forces that I've seen, and then basically they rebelled against him, and he's like, because of the Flash, because I believe it's in the Speed Force. I could be wrong, but basically, it's they worship the Flash.
Yeah.
So they got rid of Thorn, right? And the Thorn's like, well, you know what? That's why I hate the Flash.
Well, okay.
I'm like, yeah.
Sure.
And then he gets arrested. Like Barry defeats him, he gets done, and then later on he just basically gets struck by lightning, and the original UFO form's back.
Yeah. So we'll
right.
never see this version ever again because they probably realize this is weird.
Yeah. Not that it's yeah. This version is like why it could be someone. It could have been someone else as well.
Yeah.
But he's not as good at his powers are not as good as Zoom.
No.
Hunter Solomon Zoom, and he's just like an offshoot of Ubar Fawn without all the baggage that made Ubar Fawn.
Yeah. Then he kind of took Hunter Zolomon's origin as well, the whole father killing mother thing as well. Yeah. Trying to slice two people into one.
Yeah.
In a way. Yeah.
And then it didn't turn out to be as iconic as either.
No.
Yeah.
Flash the pan. Yeah.
Yeah. So our boy Ubar Fawn comes back to menace Barry some more. I think he basically what's he do?
He does lots of things.
But is this before? Do you remember the Flash War where Hunter Zolomon came back?
Yeah, that's after.
Okay.
Because you still got during this when he comes back to try to kill Iris, then Iris kills him with some black hole gun.
Yeah.
And then he
comes in the future, by the way, right?
Yeah. And then that's where you get the Renegades, is it the Outlaws? The good version of the Rogues in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then he comes back again and tries to kill Batman?
Yeah, because okay, so he now beefs with Iris because Iris killed him, right?
Yeah.
Then he comes back because he's beefing with Batman because
Batman's dad killed him.
Thomas Wayne Batman killed him in the Flashpoint universe, right?
Yeah.
Which somehow he survived, and he knows all of this.
Yeah. Right? Sure. And
I'm just saying, like, in my logic, there's like Thorn mucked up the timeline so many times, right?
Yeah.
Because he changed so many things, even his own future, yeah?
Yeah.
There's multiple different Thorns running about, but they kind of merged with their own memories within the Speed Force.
Yeah.
His negative Speed Force, because I think he's connected to it, so even if he dies, he doesn't die. Because there's still another version of him running about pre that point.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah?
Weirdness. Yeah.
Well, that's my headcanon. Even though you can't make sense of this logic, he's just like, he appears.
He just appears. Yeah. Because then when they beef with Batman, Dr. Manhattan kills him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he comes back again.
Yeah.
And he comes back again, and then this is when Zoom Hunter Zolomon comes back.
Yeah.
And you find out that he was actually in the future telling the Renegades about certain things so that he can siphon off power from the Speed Force so he could become a speedster.
Well, yeah. I think at this point as well, because they do like a double issue on the reconciled origin of Professor Zoom, where he was a Flash fanboy.
Yeah.
Right? And he gained himself super speed, and then at a certain point he must have done the return of Barry Allen. So all this probably happens prior to, the return of Barry Allen happens, and then parts of this happen where he's like, all right, so what I'll do is I'll be Barry Allen.
Yeah.
Of the future, right? I'll just like Barry Allen, but he's my idol and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
I will push people off buildings and rescue them because
no one will know, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when Barry jumps to the future, which is like, I think this takes inspiration of the Silver Age version. Where Barry jumped to the future.
Yeah.
But the modern retelling of it, but because of this Professor Zoom, he's probably the new timeline version of it, according to him, right? Because in the future it might end up changing again, right?
Yeah.
And Barry's like, you can't endanger people just to make yourself like an idol. You gotta,
Yeah, you gotta be a real hero.
Yeah, exactly. I think he puts him away, he puts him in jail. Do you perform service time? He goes, fair enough. Yeah, you're my idol, Barry, and I'll do what you say. I mean, I deserved what I deserved. Yeah, fair enough. I don't have a problem with you. Like, you are a hero, and I'm just, I'm just me, right? And then he's like, all right, I'm going to travel back in time now to tell Barry Allen I've done everything the right way.
Yeah.
Sees Barry Allen congratulating Wally West, saying, "Yeah, Wally West, you Kid Flash, and the Flash,
yeah, friends forever, sort of thing,
yeah. And you was like, I hate you, Barry. I hate you. I thought our moment was between us. I thought you were my best friend.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Nutcase.
And now I hate you forever. Obviously, but at that point, it triggered his memory because he saw Wally West. Not necessarily the memory of the Return of Barry Allen storyline. Yeah, just more like the hatred.
Yeah.
Oh, this man has so many issues.
So many. Way too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then So.
Yep. And then Zoom starts. Hunter Zollman Zoom starts the War of the Flashes by basically pitting Barry and Wally against each other.
Yeah. With 100% pure logic, by the way.
Yeah.
By saying, so Wally, your kids and your future with your wife, Linda Park doesn't know you anymore, right? But you had a future with her, and your kids existed, right? Yeah. You can't find them, right?
No.
So why don't you run back in time to bring them back alive? Because they're out in the world somewhere, right? They're probably lost in the whatever dimension, right? Barry did it. Barry chose to save his mom in Flashpoint, right?
Yeah.
And Wally West's like, you know what? Yeah. If Barry can
something.
Yeah. And then Barry's like, no. When I did it, I mucked up the universe. And it's like, yeah, but Barry, why is it you can do it, right? And I can't do it?
Yeah.
Why are you trying to stop me now? You did it, and you didn't care about anyone else.
No. And if we do it together, it might work. And then Barry's like, no, we can't do it because
the PD editorial won't allow us to, first of all.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like, bad things will happen. I done it myself. You know what happened. I lost you because of this. And then Wally's like, but that's not fair. You got a choice. I didn't get a choice. Yeah.
So what's funny? He's like, Hunter Zolomon, even though he's the hero in this, brings everything like, look.
Yep.
If we just lay it out, right? This is how it is. Wally.
Yeah.
And it is a bad situation, like unfortunate situation for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is what I was saying about tragedy all along, right?
Yeah.
And then from Wally West's angle, it's like, why can someone else do it and I can't do it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't know what happens afterwards, and maybe we can do it. And Barry's like, no, we shouldn't because I did it and mucked it up, right? But it's like, okay, you can't make decisions. I don't want to say you can't make decisions for other people, blah blah. But there is, it's like everyone's got an angle hit somewhere, right? And I don't want to say necessarily. One is blind, kind of by desperation as well.
Yeah.
And Zoom's playing on that.
Yeah.
But it's very hypocritical of Barry to say anything because of what he did. You know,
Yeah.
even though there's logic to that as well.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's there has got an argument on the table that kicked out. You know that has logic to it.
Yeah,
it's sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, then Thor's like, so I'll make them to run through the Speed Force to do whatever they need to do. Yeah, stop each other, right?
Yeah.
And then I will absorb the Speed Force from them and become the best Flash of them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ultimate Flash.
Yep.
With the classic costume, because now Barry's got the double lightning bolts that meet in the center.
Yeah, which
whereas Zoom had the classic Flash costume with the lightning running around.
Yeah. And then Wally's got his dark red open top costume. Yeah, which I like. Yeah. With the silver, and he's lightning silver instead of.
Well, the thing is, I'm gonna say personally because I don't want Wally to be second best to Barry. Yeah? You know, you got gold, you got silver, right? What'd you say it's platinum?
I'll say I'm right with being silver.
Okay. No, but in my head there was like just white lightning sort of thing. Maybe it's because that's the color of lightning as well.
Yeah.
But he Hunter Zolomon's got some dastardly plans which kind of make sense with what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? None of you Flashes need to be listening to me, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that my plan doesn't work, even though his logic kind of, you know, you want to know he's questionable at best, right?
Yeah.
But if you guys don't understand it and I understand it, I am therefore better than you.
Yeah.
So I shall be the best Flash there is.
I'll save the universe. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. If you say so.
Because I think there's a reason why he's doing all this, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. We'll probably, it'll probably come to us in a bit. But continue from is that the Flash War? Yeah.
Yeah, and we find out that Wally is the fastest man alive. Yeah.
And then Wally has to go to
Sanctuary.
Yeah. Which.
Yeah.
That's the whole other thing.
Yeah.
And where he ends up murdering all his. It has a speed hiccup of some. Like basically, something happens and he's like, "Yeah, I've got a blip here, and I actually have to color the crime scene up," which made the logical sense, anyways, right?
Yeah. So then.
And then all the Flashes are turning on Barry and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, so Wally and there's problems with all sorts of basically put Wally in Sanctuary because they haven't they're not making rational decisions. Yeah. Well, they kind of are. They kind of aren't.
Yeah.
They kind of like a bit more selfish kind of rational decisions.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. Because he's in mourning and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then. Zoom's going around doing his Zoom things as Flash. And then... I can't remember how Eborn Fawn gets involved back into this again.
Eborn Fawn, he probably just appears out of nowhere.
There's some reason.
Yeah.
And they have to do something.
Wait, first, do we have to finish the return of Savitar?
Is Savitar come back again?
Yeah.
Does he?
He's behind the blip that caused Sanctuary to Wally's manifestation of the powers.
Oh, I thought it was Eborn Fawn had something to do with that.
He had something to do with why they put Wally in Sanctuary, because he's whispering to everyone.
Yeah, he's
whispering to everyone, and Eborn Fawn has abilities that just he has.
Yeah,
just because the story needs him to have. Not necessarily needs him to have. The retcons need him to have. To fix the stories that don't make sense.
Yeah, which I allow. Yeah. Oh, I don't know Savitar. I couldn't remember that Savitar came back for this. Okay.
Yeah. So Savitar basically, so Wally basically. Okay, the next time Savitar appears, right, is when they go back to Sanctuary. Yeah. Wally's jumping through time. Yeah. Okay, because his connection with the Speed Force is a bit weird, and it's like there's something that needs to be pushed out of it. Like the Speed Force he's the best connection to the Speed Force, and it's blipping, right?
Okay, yeah.
He's trying to he's getting severed here and there, right?
Okay.
So he has his adventures within the Speed Force, jumping back and forth to in the flashes through time. Okay.
Yeah.
Then he arrives back at Sanctuary and he's like, oh, no, not this, right?
Mm.
But it's not, but because it's tragic, yeah? Because he basically murdered all her friends to try to cover it up, yeah?
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay. And then he's like, wait a minute. The lightning is, that something's heading in this direction. The lightning, the Speed Force lightning. And he sees Roy Harper there, right? And Roy Harper's like, what are you doing here?
Mm.
And then Wally's like, what are you doing here? I murdered you all.
Yeah.
Right? And then they're like, maybe it's something to do with this this red speed bubble thing magic that's coming in our direction. So we'll have a look, yeah. And the savitar like pops out there and goes, Wally West, you finally pushed me out of the Speed Force. Like you finally blips it. Like the Speed Force is trying to kick me out of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I will bend it to my will, I will have it, right?
Yeah.
I will be its master, yeah.
Yeah.
But you thought you know, he called to you and you kicked me out of it. Yeah. And now I'm a sentient physical being, right? After all this time. Here.
Okay,
Yeah. And basically he's like, well, you know what? Because you got a direct connection to the Speed Force, I will just murder you straight up.
Yeah.
And he talks so long, right?
Yeah.
He's just talking. Where Roy Harper's like, all right, well, I see, Wally, that you're connected to the to Green Arrow and everyone in the future, where you jump from back in time and stuff. So let Wally let Oliver know. Yeah, I know he did his best and stuff like that, right? I love him, man. And then he shoots the speed bubble that bursts, and causing everyone to because they were trying to create a speed tachyon device, whatever, for the Speed Force.
Yeah.
To bring Wally back. So it causes Savitar and Wally to jump back through that.
Okay.
And Savitar's like, and all the Justice League is there, and Savitar's like, you're all jabronis, right? You think I'm a god? I'm a god, you people, right? You can't do jack to me, right? I'm the god of speed. And then Wally's like, we'll see about that, boy. And he basically stands in. He's like, well, see, the Speed Force needed me. Like, you know, he's backed me up all the time and stuff. Like, you said I was the chosen one, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I was chosen to be here specifically in this place at this specific time for a specific reason. And then the Speed Force lightning repowers Wally. And Savitar's like, oh boy, no.
Oh no.
And Wally's like, so Savitar, you call these guys, you know, peons and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
So you think you're above them? Let me ask you this question, right? Do you think you could take me now that I'm repowered? In fact, I tell you what, I'll give you a 3-second head start, right?
Yeah.
To do whatever you want to do, and you can't do jack to me, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, 3-second head start, I'm gonna run. I'm gonna run away.
Yeah.
And when he's like, yeah. I'll take it up, and then he just basically takes him down and puts him out, and then he's like, "That's that guy dealt with."
Yeah,
you know. So yeah, and Savitar's like, curse you, Flash. We will meet again. That's all. The standard villain monologue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's that.
Oh, that's how we got back. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh well, look, but he came back just to fix the to take blame away from Wally.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know.
Yeah.
I think it helped him. So the fact that they had to have Reverse Flash retcon, whispering to, you know, Wallace, like the black other Wally West.
Yeah, Wallace West. Yeah.
Yeah. Barry Allen, Jay Garrick, and all these people, to nudge to put Wally in Sanctuary, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they had to have Savitar connected to Speed Force to cover to then say, oh, you know, the blame does not lie with Wally. Like, all right, this is a massive fix which works, yeah. But at the same time, it's like you had to have two different people in two different storylines.
Justify it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, silly, so silly. Oh. And then
so that's him dealt with.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to think, Oh,
So
Zoom?
Rival Flash doesn't come back, so we dealt with him,
No.
right?
It's just literally Airborne and Hunter
Hunter
Zolomon
Zolomon.
now.
Yeah.
Because Hunter Zolomon, I don't remember what he does for him to sacrifice himself for
So
Wally.
does he have so the speed, there's other forces like Sage Force, Strength Force, and some other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Speed Force, whatever. He tries to absorb all the forces
Yes.
in one of the storylines because he's like, look, I'm the best Flash of them all, right?
Yeah.
I will combine the forces and become the Forever Force, right?
Yeah, that's the one. Yep.
And the Black Flash is like chasing all of them down, all the Force users, right? Because he's like, even though they're not the Speed Force, and he's the death of he's the sentient death of the Speed Force. He's like, no, I'm just gonna, you know what? I decided I'm just gonna go to the other forces as well, just for whatever reason, just for the lols, because they're forces, whatever, you know, they're all connected. However, right? Yeah, and Hunter Zolomon in his classic Flash costume. It's like, look, I'm gonna absorb all these forces, and I'm gonna do my best to take down the Black Flash because I'm the hero of this story. Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah. He's like, I think at this point though, he's like, as he's doing this. Oh yeah, this was like, okay, so Barry, I'm gonna absorb all the other forces, right? I'm gonna take down the Black Flash, right?
Yeah.
For the use, right? Right. And Barry's like, no, there's got to be a way we can do it without you dying.
Yeah.
And so I think he grabs Zoom and they run through to like in the Speed Force.
Yeah.
To get away from the Black Flash, which then they start seeing chops of the past and the future and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then Barry's like, then they see a vision, right, of U-Bar 4 and handing the gun to the clown, right?
Yeah. When you find out a lot of
And Barry's like, Zoom's like, that can't be, and Barry's like, it is, unfortunately, it is because the gun has the clown's fingerprints on it, but they got another set of fingerprints on it, which we couldn't work out whose it was. And now this makes sense. So Zoom created you.
Yeah, he's like,
and Hunter has a breakdown because he's like, obviously he thought he created him. No, he created himself, but it's tragedy. Everything that his logic worked on, he's just flipped.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna take down the Black Flash because nothing in my life is true to itself anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like it's kind of like a make do for all the stuff he's done as well, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like, tell Wally I'm sorry. And I'm like, well, you know, he went out in a good way, you know?
Yeah, he did.
Which is, by the way, a much more better presentation than I don't know if you remember Alexander Nero.
No.
Alexander Nero was supposed to be Carl Rayner's equivalent of Sinestro.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. The yellow ring welder and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Who actually legit had mental issues, yeah?
Yeah.
Like legit insanity. Not like the Joker's insanity.
Yeah.
Just like, you know, he's on a different, his mind's on a different vibration. And we want to talk about that, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how to mention it without making it, but he's not psychotic. He's just like, yeah.
He's not well, yeah.
Yeah, he's genuinely unwell. And they basically, once the Green Lantern's got the power of being able to kill, like, you know, what's it called? Lethal Force?
Yeah.
And you had that section of Green Lanterns were like, you know, we are going to use Lethal Force.
Yeah.
He was strapped up in whatever, like the Green Lantern prison of Boa, and then they basically just shot. They shot a bunch of the villains, and he just got executed. And it's like, well, that's kind of a bit for a guy that could have been useful somewhat, not useful somewhat, but like he could have been in the Yellow Lanterns, but been apart from them, you know. But anyways, that's neither here nor there, right?
Yeah.
I think Hunter Zolomon, they did well by him.
Yeah. He got a heroic sent off.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, leading all the way back, by the way, to our man U-Ball Fawn once again.
Yeah.
The man behind the man behind the man behind everything.
It was
he can't
him
stop
all
himself.
along.
Yeah.
It was me all along.
Yeah. What's the most current thing that he was doing?
Because this is where something again happens where Eobard Thawne, GodSpeed, and Barry Allen Flash had to team up to do something.
Yeah. Fighting this guy called Paradox.
Yeah. So they beat him, and then also this was like a redeeming moment for GodSpeed because he was trying to do good by what he did before.
Yeah, because Barry Allen's his friend. Like, Barry, he's retconned to exist.
Yeah.
Right, because he never existed in continuity before, but he was undercover, and Barry Allen was his good mate and stuff like that. Yeah.
And so they beat the guy, and like, yeah, we're doing great. Barry's like to say, "Good job, Eobard," and then you see Eobard like literally rip GodSpeed's head off.
Whoa, okay, it's not that graphic, but it is kind of
like he delodges his skull from his spine.
Yeah, and the way that it's done is because GodSpeed is still in costume, right?
Yeah.
You don't see the decapitation, but you just see that the neck of the costume is in places it shouldn't be.
Yeah, you're like, oh, dude, that's a bit much.
Yeah.
And then does he steal his speed as well?
Well, I can't remember if he does that exactly.
He might have done that, or he's just been petty and killed him. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, of course, because it's Zoom.
Yeah.
I expect just to be petty and do that anyways.
Yeah. And then he runs off, and then this is where he goes, I'm going to create my own Reverse Flash family.
Yeah.
So he goes and recruits Don and Dawn West, Gorilla Grodd, the Turtle.
Don and Dawn Allen. Right?
Allen, sorry, not West.
Yeah.
Allen.
The children of Barry Allen.
Yeah.
Who somehow Zoom made infected with his reverse speed force to be like, Barry, even your children hate you.
Yeah.
All right.
But weren't they villains originally?
I don't think they were.
Oh, it was okay. For some reason, I thought the Tornado Twins were always like villains on that. But anyway,
okay. Let me have a quick wiki while you're talking about it.
And so they become he's the Legion of Zoom, as they're called.
Yeah.
And they beat up at Barry Allen, and Zoom and Eobard possesses his body.
So in one of the possible futures, right?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. The thing is with the time jumping, right?
Yeah.
You don't know exactly where in. Okay, so as far as I can reconcile it, right?
Yeah.
Zoom is jumping back and forth through time, right?
Yeah.
But it could be different times from the point of where certain decisions are made.
Yeah.
It's not alternate universes per se, right?
It's just branching timelines.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, so then he absorbs. Yeah, he possesses Barry's body, and he wants to make Barry's name terrible. So he goes to try and kill the Flash family, basically.
Which, by the way, let me point out, right?
Yeah.
This all still makes sense with him being the ultimate Barry Allen fanboy because he's like, way back in the Silver Age, he wants to marry Iris West because he wants to be Barry Allen, right?
Yeah.
And then it's revealed in the Return of Barry Allen that that's exactly what he's like. Such a fanboy, he made himself look like Barry Allen. He recreated the powers of Barry Allen, and he tried to take over Barry Allen, like legacy and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So the entire lot of this
makes
sense in the future.
Yeah.
When people are writing the storylines, because they're like, all right, this attaches to this, that attaches to this. Is like, yeah. So he realizes he's Barry's worst enemy, right?
Yeah.
But he still wants Barry's attention.
Yeah.
Because it's Barry's idol, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is, if I'm gonna make him like, I'm not necessarily love him. I can't have his love. I'll have his hate.
Yeah.
And that's good enough to fuel my existence.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Nutcase. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone's not well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then this is when Jay Garrick is brought back into this continuity.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
And Bart as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And while this is all going on, Barry's in the Speed Force.
Yeah, where Max Mercury and Jason Quick are also brought back into this continuity.
Yeah.
And Inertia as well, because Inertia's Barry Allen's trying to get out of the Speed Force, and Inertia's like, "Nah, I'm gonna stop you."
Yeah.
And then Barry's like, "Inertia, you gotta just stop being a punk, right?
Yeah.
Don't you see you're being used here? I'm sure Professor Zoom, Reverse Flash Thorn, is telling you to stop us getting out of here, but you have to understand he don't care about you.
Yeah.
Because he could get you out of here any time, right? And you see how he hasn't.
But you're still here. Yeah. You're like,
yeah.
Oh.
And then Inertia was like, "Fine, I'll go to my room then." And he walks off.
Like,
and he runs off. Yeah. Okay.
Like, sure. All right. Glad we got that out of the way.
yeah.
Oh, so sad. And this is where, after that, Barry gets out of Thorne's possession.
Yeah.
And they start racing around the world, sort of thing.
Well, yeah, like Thorne gets the Legion of Zoom,
Yeah.
which is all Barry's enemies, and then Barry, they get the Legion of Flashes to fight them back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Zoom's like, "Well, I'm gonna go." As far as I say, I believe, but I'm getting this. Thorne's logic is like, "Well, Barry, I'm gonna go back in time and cause more problems for you because that's how I do." Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill your mum and your dad and everyone in existence or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Sure.
Like the stuff he casually usually says, but like casual murder, fair enough.
Because it got to the point where murder's nothing to him. You're like, oh.
Well, I think there's also because he's so obsessed with Barry.
Yeah.
That nothing exists outside his world but Barry.
Yeah.
So it's like, you over there, you're nothing to me.
Yeah.
I don't care about you over there either, right? I don't care about you. I only care about this guy. He's the only one that matters to me, and therefore you don't matter. None of you matter to me.
Yeah.
So I'll just murder you nilly-willy.
You're like, oh, okay. Because like basically his whole logic is like, time doesn't matter because David ran out of time, so technically it's not murder. You're like,
well, yeah, I think partially his logic is like, well, you're from my future, 1,000+ years or whatever, right? 600 years from now, you're all dead anyways.
Yeah. So what does it matter if I kill you now? You're like,
exactly. All right.
It doesn't work, but sure. All
right. Yeah. Which, by the way, like we're saying in the TV series, that Eddie Thorne kills himself to wipe out U-Ball form doesn't work because U-Ball form just keep like the continuity here, as far as time travel goes in the comics, is very messy.
Yeah.
But if you say you got the Deus Ex Machina of Zoom just saying, well, no negative Speed Force.
Yeah. Because then we find out also this Zoom is a Zoom that's not bound by any time. Yeah. Which kind of makes sense. Like, okay, that kind of makes sense.
I think at this point they threw in the towel and said we can't. Yeah, which is we can't. He's got to be wherever he is, so he's best try to not to work out where he is.
Yeah. So this is a Zoom that we could kill, and then it wouldn't matter because the next Zoom would be a different Zoom.
Yeah.
So like, okay. So then this is also where he reveals that everything bad that's happened to the Flash family is because of him, because he's been hypnotically suggesting it to him with his speed manipulation, whatever. Yeah. And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, this is where we retcon to give Wally to make Wally West less of a smear campaign, whatnot.
And why certain people don't exist, are not remembered, like Jay Garrett and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like, and why Wallace was just beefing with Barry and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's like, okay, this all makes sense. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Not that you had to have it in the first place,
no,
but it was one of those things where people just done something so illogically that you just basically have to say, well, someone else is to blame for it, right? Because
I was actually okay with this. Like, you know what? I like that they've kind of tied up all these weird loose ends.
But yeah, because the ending pays it all off as well.
Yeah.
The finale.
Yeah. It's like a good 2-3 year storyline all wrapped up. Like, this is okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
And so they're fighting through the Speed Force.
Yeah. And
Barry kind of comes to like a conclusion, like, you know what? All Airborne ever wanted was my time.
Yeah.
And that's quite
Yeah.
And I feel quite sorry for this dude.
Yeah.
And then they're running. I think they both stop and Barry goes, you know what, Airborne? I forgive you.
Yeah.
And people are like, "Hey, well, what?" He goes, "No, I forgive you for everything you did. I should have been a better person that time I met you."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's like,
And
"Wait,
you're both like, no, Scott, no, I have to, no, you have to hate me. You have
yeah."
to.
And he's like, "No, I forgive you. We could be
Yeah.
like, I don't say we could be friends, but basically like,
Yeah.
we could be friends."
We like we've run this race so many times, and there's only so many ways. Like it only seems to ever go in one direction. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's try a different way. Let's try working it out a different way. Let's have a talk.
Yeah.
And you're like, I can't. I will not allow it.
Yeah.
You just get more infuriated.
Like I. And then he just phases out of existence.
Yeah. I was like, all right, even though they didn't 100% explain that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I know they do kind of because there's an epilogue to it.
Yeah.
It's just like, would you say that he kind of, because it was unexpected from Barry to say that after all the stuff he's done to Barry, he's like, he took it to, I don't want to say he accepted it for a split second, and that led to everything else.
Yeah, I'll say that.
Yeah,
and it gets rid of this version of Zoom, the petty, murderous one.
Yeah. Because I think he got stunned by the logic of, after all I've done to you,
you still forgive me.
And for a split second, he's like, you are my idol.
Yeah.
Right? But then that just caused, that split second is all you need to change everything.
Yeah.
Because at the epilogue is basically he's in the Flash Museum now, being the curator, talking about the great Barry Allen and stuff like that. And he's like, oh yeah, and here we are with with the Reverse Flash, Professor Zoom.
Yeah.
Who's Barry's worst enemy through time in existence.
Yeah.
He absolutely hated the Flash.
Yeah.
But who can hate Barry Allen, and who can live their life in such a way that is their only existence?
Yeah. And then, because it doesn't say his name either, does it? It just says
it just says unknown. Yeah. It's like, oh, all right, well, he realized, like, new timeline, Newborn Thorn, which never had all this stuff done to him.
Yeah.
Is like, it's a tragedy how this man is just destroying some other guy's life.
Yeah.
For no reason, Like, oh, okay. That was a good little finale to this version of Newborn Thorn.
Yeah.
Because no doubt he'll come back at some point, but it's
but it won't be this version.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like, you give a good 5 years break or something. Like, he doesn't need to appear anymore.
No.
But then it's like, not anymore, right? But you have to come up with something else for him.
Yeah.
But at this point, you could use some of the other Reverse Flashes, which they got rid of, like Savitar and Daniel West and stuff. If you needed a Reverse Flash, it's just like, or you could even have the square version of Newborn Thorn come back, because he's kind of somewhere.
Or even, God forbid, you could just make a new Reverse Flash.
Yeah.
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 You know what I mean?
But who could be as iconic as the guy who would do so many little things, out of pettiness and spite, and for no reason.
Yeah, it's true. But like, I wouldn't like, because I think this version's a perfect version of Zoom. I wouldn't want to see it again. It's like, to me, it will get kind of milked like the Joker. Like, whenever I see the Joker appear, I'm just not bothered anymore. Like,
I like the Green Goblin, right? You're like, how many times must you get beat up?
Yeah. It's like, really? Come on now.
What's good with Zoom, at least, right? When he does stuff, is generally like this thing. Like the more recent, like since the Wally West, since Wally West took over, that run, he's done major stuff. Every time he's appeared.
Yeah.
And even like both Zooms, in fact, right, have made major things.
Yeah.
So because you had Zoom in the Blitz, Zoom in Rogue War.
Yeah.
And then the Flash War and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Professor Zoom doing Rebirth and, well, I won't say Flashpoint, but Barry calls that. But he was like, Barry. He was just there just to taunt Barry, saying, well, Barry,
I did nothing. You did was yes.
Yeah, and then laugh at him. Just being like a mean girl to him.
Yeah. He did all this. I'm just watching.
Yeah.
See it all explode in your face. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And some of the what was this storyline called?
What, the one that just finished with?
Yeah.
I don't actually know. Because I don't know, you know.
Yeah. But he's
Legion
is
of
it
Zoom?
Dead
Probably,
End or I can't remember. Legion of no, I don't. No, Finish Line.
Yeah, finish line. The Flash
Yeah.
Sage and finish line. Yeah, finish line. Finish line. Yeah.
So, but you know, even at the Paradox storyline where he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna kill Godspeed," even though he didn't have to have anything to do with that storyline. He put away Paradox in the future, yeah.
Yeah.
And Barry had to save him. Barry had to allow Reverse Flash to kill his own mum.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
then he had to pull a zoom out of the timeline before he killed Barry's mum.
Yeah.
Right? Deal with him and then let him kill Barry's mum afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Messed up.
I was like, wow. And then Zoom arrives back going, "Yeah, I'm gonna get your kids, by the way, and make sure." Sorry, Yuba Fawn comes back and goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna get your kids to hate you."
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a bit messed up, man.
Yeah, but that's what you get. I mean, like as a character, he's amazing. The stuff that he does, right? It's just completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
But to him, it's the only thing that he ever wants to do. It's like,
he wants to be with his idol.
Yeah.
Nutcase.
Oh man, and then he's like, "Oh, so my idol has a sighting or something. That means he hates me, right? That means he lied to me or not." Like, you just jumped in all the conclusions that you need to do to justify what you. Yeah.
How do you get to this point? I mean, like, how do you get from 8 to 12? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
not in the same metric system. Like, okay, what? That's
yeah.
Oh, he's great. I'll miss him for now. Yeah.
Yeah. The old. Yeah. When you say it's a nutcase, right? But he's like, as far as the character goes, from his beginning to his end.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah. I you know, I admire the Flash, right? And then they just ramp it up to all those crazy levels of like, I am a Flash stalker.
Yeah.
I will stalk Barry Allen and hide outside his window to see, you know, whatever, right? And all this stuff, to see what he's doing, how he's getting dressed in the morning and stuff like it's like, wow, you know?
It's like too far, dude, too far.
What's his favorite cosplay? I'll go through his trash and have a look and see, you know, what he ate and stuff. I'm like, whoa. You know, how can I become him? I can if I murder his wife, yeah, or if I marry his wife, and yeah.
It's way too much. Problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, great character.
Yeah. I mean, like you say, yeah. I mean, say Cameron's got layers and levels, right? But this guy, from there to there, right away.
Yeah.
Even though, like we say, when you read his appearances, he kind of slowly ramps up.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, right? His first actual appearance, it may not be his first appearance because we haven't got to that point yet. Where he, yeah. How do you think the timeline stuff is convenient for him, or would you be like, I accept it as what it is?
I accept it.
Not necessarily. Yeah, it's not necessarily a plot device because it doesn't need to time travel like that from the future, past, whatever.
Yeah.
But just more of a thing that makes him a bit more crazy because it's like, I'll just do this stuff because I can do this stuff. And I'll terrorize an individual because my ability allows me to. Like
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure?
Yeah.
Mad
All right. That's us closing off for this episode, I guess, right?
Yeah. And our lovely discussion about the Reverse Flash moniker. Basically. Monaco? Yeah. Yes. So, who's your favorite Reverse Flash in the comics? Is it or Reverse Flash adjacent? Is it Professor Zoom, aka Reverse Flash? Is it Hunter Zolom, aka Zoom? The rival Flash, Savitar? Let us know. You could do that.
Or Inertia, you forgot about him.
Yeah,
but then again,
Inertia.
he's not exactly done much, you know, to be worthy of any whatever.
Should bring him back, but
yeah.
Actually, I don't think they will. Actually, could they?
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, if they got something major to do for him to do.
Yeah. Yeah, let us know. But you can do that by leaving a comment in the comment section if you're watching this on YouTube. Drop us an email, a tweet, a direct message on Instagram. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Again, if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening to this in the audio realm, please could you leave a review and a 5-star or whatever star rating the place you're listening to it on. And until next time, guys, I'd like to thank you. Oh, actually, no. I have been the man who done weird things to Barry in a sexual way. Carl Charles. That's the meme thing, yeah.
Which you talked about last time. We were talking about live action Reverse Flashes, but you did not mention this time, so it's a bit out of the ordinary.
Yeah, I know. Oh, shit, yeah.
I'm the man who goes back in time to try and kill my own dad, so I can live my life with my sister, even though she rejected me because I tried to kill her because she had the Speed Force within her, and then I see a bunch of kids getting blown up. See why, Chong?
Who's also, they get another brother retconned back into it afterwards.
Wait, just another thing there, right?
Yeah.
Wait, okay, explain to me that. Well, so I don't I'm about to say something, but I didn't want to cross over with what you're saying, so you explain to me that first.
Because they kind of ignored that Iris's older brother, who's Wally's dad, that he never happened. And then after
really? Which Wally? Which Wally? There's Walter Wally. No, there's Wallace Wally. Yeah.
Yeah, that's New Kid Flash.
Yeah. And Wally is Walter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even though Wally was Wallace.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me clear up something first. So
Alright, yeah.
You read the Dark Flash saga?
No.
Okay. So Hyper Time happened.
Yeah.
Wally West was like normal standard Wally West was Wallace West.
Yeah.
There was a Walter West who's an alternate version of him. Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't he have the darker suit in it?
Yeah. So, but now we're saying that Wally West is the Kid Flash, right?
Yep.
Of the New 52, whatever, right?
Hmm.
And Wally West, Ginger Wally West, is now Walter West?
Yep.
But not the Walter West from the Dark Flash saga?
No.
Yeah, okay. Right? Yeah. Whose dad, Walter West's dad is Rudy West, right?
Yep.
Oh, are you saying that guy is the guy that doesn't exist anymore?
Oh, no. Rudy West does exist now. Okay. Once they brought Wally back into the timeline, he does exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But he didn't exist at the point that Daniel West existed.
No.
Okay.
So the retcon did where they all three of them exist now.
Yeah. And wasn't Daniel West Wallace West's uncle at one point, which then they retconned him to be his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
well, not retconned him, they revealed that was his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Wally didn't know until his dad died. Well, sorry, Wallace didn't know until his dad died. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah. It's a bit messy, but whatever, right?
Yeah. Wait.
Go on, you forget.
No, I'm trying to think. I guess they don't bother. I think they probably retconned it again where he knew he was his dad the whole time now, probably, because...
Yeah, well... Okay, we can try and reconcile it with our own logic, but what we can say definitively is Dr. Manhattan started changing stuff, right?
Yeah.
So Tim Drake was Robin and became Red Robin.
Yeah.
Then he was Red Robin all along.
Yep.
And now he's also Robin and Red Robin.
Yeah.
Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
Right? And now he's currently back as Robin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though Dr. Manhattan is also Robin, but yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Manhattan, right? Yeah. That's all we're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, not Crisis, not post-Crisis or anything, not Paradox did no. At this point, Dr. Manhattan changed all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it beats Superboy punching the wall, so hey, you know.
Yeah, I mean, at one point Superboy did punch a wall and caused all of that as well, but now we and at one point we could blame Barry Allen as well. Yeah. But now we can blame, we know who to blame.
Dr. Manhattan for everything. He's probably somehow involved in Superboy punching the wall. Yeah, all that stuff.
Oh, no, not currently. Not currently. Because each time someone gets blamed for different things, right?
Yeah. But isn't he? I don't know.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. So yeah, thank you for listening to us go on another random tangent. And Until next time, guys, thank you for taking a trip with us around the weird, complicated universe of Eobon Fawn. Bye.
Bye.
Where's... What?